Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Bought a Mic, a podcast about the films of Mr. Denzel Washington. The series is called Mic on Fire, and this is our first episode of the series. We're talking about Glory, 1989, directed by Edward Zwick. Any Zwick heads in the house today?
We're gonna be Zwick heads, but by the end of this pod series.
Welcome.
That's true. We're doing a couple of him.
Yeah.
Are we?
I think we're doing 2.
Okay.
Is that
I
right?
think we decided.
I said a couple.
We cut like 3.
We're doing
out.
Courage Under Fire?
I mean, we can.
No, I'm not. Listen, no. I'm not trying to grow the game here. Don't worry.
No, we're not doing.
We're doing American Assassins for our next podcast series.
We're not doing Training Day. We're subbing it out for Courage Under Fire.
Oh,
Welcome. My name's Ernest.
I am a fan of the Civil War, the Ken Burns docuseries. My name is Hunter.
and I, of course, am Private Jupiter Sharts, which is the name of one of the main characters.
That is Jupiter Sharts.
Who's
Yeah,
Jupiter Sharts?
The stuttering one. His name is
Jimmy Candy.
Jupiter Sharts.
Oh, yeah. This guy's great.
He's great. He just like stopped acting.
This is like his only movie?
The real question here is,
it is.
Shart must have not just been a term in the 80s.
You know what's crazy
right?
is that so in doing a little bit of research, none of these people were real. Like
No.
the exception of
Except for
Robert
Shaw.
Gould Shaw.
Yeah.
So there was one writer who was just like, I'm gonna make fucking Jupiter Sharts out here. I'm gonna make him a key cog in this whole movie.
Crazy. Sharts definitely was not a term. There's no way.
I'm really, really excited to get into this series, a new era for the show. Denzel,
Sometimes the only way to move forward is by going backward.
if you didn't listen to our previous episode introing the series, Denzel won a bracket chosen by the listeners as to who would be the subject of our series. We did an episode in which we kind of ran through it. We didn't touch on too much of like the details of his biography before we got into the list of movies. So I think it'd be a good time here to kind of fill in the gaps since this is the first movie. This is, his breakout role, essentially. He had been nominated for a previous Oscar. He wins for this one for supporting actor. He'd been nominated for Cry Freedom.
Which was in 87.
Yeah. Denzel, born in New York, went to school in Virginia and Florida, and then eventually private military school, which is interesting for this movie in which he plays a soldier in California. And, his parents, kind of humble beginnings, Pentecostal minister, beauty parlor owner mom, and eventually he finds his way into acting, into theater.
Yeah. And the main way that this background becomes important in terms of chronology is why he's starting a little bit later than you might think.
Right.
A little bit older.
He didn't start really acting until like at least college. He was a little older. It's kind of like what happened recently with Tremel Tillman.
Yeah.
Where he just wasn't acting. And then once he did, everyone was
suddenly,
like, who the fuck are you? You got it. So he wanted to be a journalist.
Yeah, that was his degree. He worked as a creative arts director at a summer camp at a YMCA in Connecticut, and at a talent show, basically a friend, a colleague, said he should try acting. And then that's when he said, you know what, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a shot.
And then he went to the theater and was like, and I will be one of the greatest actors of all time now.
So, we talked a little bit in the last episode about St. Elsewhere. That's, to some extent, like the first breakout, right? Before making the jump to movies. Very successful, well-known show. Mm-hmm. He had a big part.
Billion episodes of that show. It's once you get past the intro of it, it's a very recognizable show. It just feels like a medical procedural, not different from ER. Is St. Elsewhere the one that ends where it's all a dream?
I think so. That sounds familiar.
Spoiler. Sorry, everybody.
It's like in a snow globe or something?
Like it zooms out
catch up to that.
and the whole show was in a snow globe, like being imagined by an autistic child.
That rocks.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Right before that, he makes his debut in a movie called Carbon Copy. not sure what this is. It's like a white guy who finds out he has a black son or something. So classic 1981 movie.
Oh my God.
Great stuff.
Then after St. Elsewhere, or I guess in the middle of St. Elsewhere, he does A Soldier Story, Hard Lessons, Power. So he's making movies. He's appearing in roles in films while shooting St. Elsewhere.
Usually just as like supporting players.
Yeah.
The poster for Carbon Copy is.
It's crazy.
I feel so bad for Denzel that he had to do this just to be in a movie.
It's real tough.
You have to be kidding me.
He is not starring in it.
Then Cry Freedom. Yeah, a Richard Attenborough film. So that's kind of like the first little step that then takes him to Glory.
Yeah.
Also released the same year as Glory are the films The Mighty Quinn and For Queen and Country. Apparently, The Mighty Quinn is some kind of thriller in which he's on the beach, it looks like, by the poster.
Yeah,
the chief of police and the chief suspect, they know each other too well to let a little thing like murder get in their way. Robert Townsend is the other guy.
Okay. I know For Queen and Country is another, it's like a crime drama.
The fighting's only just begun. That's another sort of military story in there. A British soldier, despite a distinguished military career, returns to a civilian life where racism and inner city life lead to vigilantism and violence.
Talking about his early career and even like his the early like adoration that he is getting, it is very much like he's getting roles that were traditional for black men at this time in Hollywood. And so especially like these are the movies that are getting the Oscar love. If you look at something like Cry Freedom, he's playing like an anti-apartheid political activist in South Africa.
More in the vein of Carbon Copy. Have y'all gotten to Heart Condition yet? Which is 1990. The logline is: a racist cop receives a heart transplant from a black lawyer he hates, who returns as a ghost to ask the cop to help take down the men who murdered him.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we add this to the series?
Holy shit.
Can we add this movie to the series really quick?
So that's
Sorry, we got to take Malcolm X out so we can watch Heart Condition.
That's between Glory and Mo Better Blues. It's somewhere in there.
The amount that you had to debase yourself just to be in movies as a black man is like genuinely.
And the question is Glory kind of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it 100% is that. Like, that is why I brought that up about the roles that he's getting. Like, this, I mean, even as much progress as we have made now in the 2020s, like, this is still something that you see, especially with younger black men, is like you can go off, you can do your thing, but like, we will consider you like a capital A actor if you fit into the mold that we have already pre-established for you as a black actor. Yeah,
which unfortunately was slaves. And even until something like 12 Years a Slave. What is that, 2012?
2012, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how far we've come since 2012 and 2026, probably not far, but it's like you don't see a lot of movement there. I mean, Glory and 12 Years a Slave are very, very different movies, and you can trace a line of growth and progress.
Well, this isn't even just saying just slaves, but it's like even the political activist thing. Like, look at Daniel Kaluuya in Judas and the Black Messiah. Like, that is a very much like a Oscar type performance, as just like you're like a black man, but like you're like a proud black man who's standing up against the system. And that's not to say anything about the performances. Daniel Kaluuya is fucking incredible in Judas and the Black Messiah.
That's a great movie.
And that's a great movie. And I think Denzel is incredible in Glory. Mm-hmm. Like, it's more so just a statement on like the roles that are available. Not an indictment on
that's the bigger issue, because these are all stories that do need to be told, right, and like do need to have movies about them. Like, there's not just out of like respect or reverence or like needing to acknowledge history, but just out of like, there are movies in these stories. It's just, these shouldn't be the only stories that these people get to portray.
It's also who's making the movies, right? Yeah. Like, Judas and the Black Messiah is Shaka King,
who fucking rules. Where's he at, by the way?
I don't know. And Steve McQueen made 12 Years a Slave. Like, these examples that we're bringing up, these are black directors telling these black stories. Glory, Not as much. Edward Zwick is a very white fellow.
He's Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So you guys had never seen this before?
So if I did, I blocked it out because I didn't remember anything about this movie except from like the big scene, the single tear. But no, I basically had never seen this.
I had seen it twice before, both in history class, both in high school. There's a good chance that it was like cable versions, not like the full on version. Didn't remember, being particularly struck by the movie necessarily. I think it was better than I thought it was going to be.
It's a solid movie.
It's not a bad movie at all.
No, it's well done.
In particular, reading about like the background of the movie and, the production process, I think that Zwick did a lot better than you would expect him to do.
Yeah.
A lot of the notes he was getting from the studio are like, no, the whole story needs to be about Matthew Broderick. It needs to be shot. And then he did an interview like relatively recently where he was like, we were shooting and like I got to the scene in the tent with the crew and I was like, this is a way better movie than this fucking than this like Nepo baby general.
Right.
Like why would we not focus on these people?
It's important to think about the way the movie was when it came out. I think this movie was very well received. Roger Ebert gave it a good score. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of it that's aged really, really poor. Mm-hmm. And I think we can get into that. But I think as a movie, if you kind of put yourself in the headspace of when it came out, like there's a lot of good stuff in here.
And if you put it within the context of Civil War movies, which like there really aren't hardly any.
We gotta try to forget that a little bit in Hollywood,
I mean, there genuinely just aren't many.
Because like you're waiting for the South to rise again.
Right.
Like you're waiting for the other side.
This is sort of by default the best Civil War movie.
I guess that is kind of true. I was not as into this movie while watching it, to be perfectly honest. A lot of that is centered on, and I don't want to do like the boring movie thing where I'm just saying like the movie's bad because it's not the movie that I wanted it to be. But like, it's just the Matthew Broderick character and framing the story from his perspective is so uninteresting. And the movie spends like 70% of the time with that character. And I think Matthew Broderick, it's not all his fault. Like, I think Matthew Broderick, by all accounts, is a good guy, as long as he's not behind the wheel of a car.
Jesus.
Don't check his Wikipedia.
The roads
about that
go the opposite way in Europe.
Yeah, he just had no idea, right?
It's confusing.
But by all accounts, he's a good guy. I think he is so, like, grossly miscast in this movie. I found him like terrible, like almost like borderline like unwatchable. I was like laughing at the scenes. It's big like I'm wearing my dad's suit energy that he is bringing in this because he looks like a
character. Though.
That is
sure
exactly.
That is not. He is not portraying that. I think that like the Zwick part of this and the way that he constructed it, he did the best that he could. A lot of the problem just comes in with the screenplay that I think is not good. Not up to snuff.
So a lot of I went back and forth on whether or not, because I don't think Broderick is bad. I think that so this movie is based on a series of real letters that Colonel Robert Goldshaw wrote to his family, because in real life this guy was chosen to command the 1st Regiment of free black people in the Civil War for the North. And the letters themselves are unchanged. They're just read in the movie. And a lot of his base character traits are right there in the letters. Mm-hmm. Like where he is a soft Nepo baby who just happens to be in like the woke crowd for at the time, but he's like a little rich boy. Yeah. He's not a good general. He was given this job just because of like who his parents are, basically. That said, if that's what the movie's gonna be, then like you need to focus on him less. And Zwick did all he could, but like in order to make a movie like this back then, if you made this movie today, without a fucking doubt, we'd be hanging out with fucking Denzel and Morgan Freeman a whole lot more.
Well, here's
the movie.
Yeah, like it's so clear that that's a better film, but like the studio just kept on giving notes. They had more that Zwick decided to cut out. They had stuff about his childhood. Like they had so much unnecessary shit about Shaw when it's just not him.
To be honest, I think like even beyond that, I would rather spend time with Cary Elwes than I would with Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, I like Cary Elwes in here.
I thought that he was really fun. I thought that he was like, he is a good character that like, the first time that you see him, he's just being like very like casually racist at the like drunk at the little party thing of like, oh yeah, we're going to be leading We're gonna be leading a regiment of those guys. And then like he spends more time with the troops and he becomes like a much more empathetic character and more interesting character. And I enjoyed him a lot in this.
It's tough. Because I get what you're saying. We're spending so much time with a guy where you're like, this isn't it.
He's too boyish in this movie that I just never really buy. I think that there's a reason why Matthew Broderick never tries this move again. Like he never in his filmography up after this is never like, I should go back and try and do like war captain.
I mean, he didn't work out, to be honest. You know what I mean? Like right after this, he has a 90s to forget. Like he has a really interesting career because he has War Games in the early 80s, which is a really, really great
movie.
Teenage type, like Michael J. Fox type role. And then his not just the movie, his performance as Ferris Bueller, I think is one of the best 50 performances ever in a movie.
Yeah.
It is so captivating. And it is so, because he's a theater actor, you think, oh, maybe it's just he's not meant for close-up. In that movie, it's just all up in his face and he's so good. But there were just certain things he just wasn't made for. Yeah. And there are certain hero shots of him in this movie that are like, no,
you don't got it.
You ain't it. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I read Pauline Kael's review of the film. And first of all, it just made me like so jealous. She's such a good fucking writer. But like most critics, she really liked the movie. You know, she had a good critiques, but
it was a very important movie at the time. It was a big deal.
Here's what she said about Broderick. She said, as the small, sad-faced Shah who saw hell at Antietam and is determined to prepare his men for what's ahead, Matthew Broderick shows us the misery of a soft-hearted commanding officer. His Shah is not a natural hero. He has to work at it. Even Broderick's drawbacks, parentheses, the flat tone of his voice, his relative inexpressiveness, seem to help here. That's kind of where I ended up at. Is like, she says it really good here.
It kind of makes sense.
Shah is decent, uncertain of himself, a warrior. It's a lovely performance, as remote and touching as a daguerreotype. Broderick keeps a sense of proportion. His presence never dominates the black actors. That's kind of where it ended up, is like, if that's like young Cruise, who would do a way more captivating job, this like, they're probably not cutting out all the other stuff about Shaw because like they're like, people want to see Cruise. People want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like the Shaw movie.
I think that's, and again, not to just do the thing and rewrite the movie for him, but I mean, I think to that point, all of that is true in a movie where Matthew Broderick is like the fifth build guy.
Yeah, but he's number one.
He's number one. I think that's kind of
no. I mean, absolutely, it is it's the biggest problem with the movie, 100%.
Also, there is just some lines, not all by Matthew Broderick, that are just like, they're really funny, like in an unintentional humor way. There's one very early on after Matthew Broderick like is a little bitch boy and he like plays dead on the battlefield until Morgan Freeman finds him. He's like getting cleaned up and there's the screaming like troops that have all been like just survived the battle. And there's a guy who says, "Did you hear? Lincoln is going to issue an Emancipation Proclamation." And I'm like, what's going on?
It's the inciting incident. You know, it's the reason why these guys are able to form a regiment.
Yes.
There's a lot of movie isms here. I mean, we could do a whole section of all the historical inaccuracies that are in this movie, because there's a lot. I mean, this movie, I don't think is concerned with being, you know, super, super accurate. I think that the reason why it was a big deal is because of what you said there's really no precedent of Civil War movies. I think that the only real history is things like Gone with the Wind, which are part of the whole like lost cause story of trying to depict the South as this
it's like
righteous.
There are a lot of period pieces that aren't focusing necessarily on the war, but maybe stuff going on.
Yeah, this is kind of like the Saving Private Ryan of its time. Is kind of giving you that visceral, bloody, violent look at what the battle was like. And a lot of the combat, a lot of the violence in this movie in 2026 comes off kind of goofy. There is kind of like
it goes a little harder than you think in the beginning, but like compared to stuff that we see now, it's just not even close.
This is like the PG-13 version of this movie, and I really wanted the R. Like, I think that it is missing like 20% more of like the visceral.
At the time, it was very visceral.
Well, so here's another issue that you run into when you go to old wars. the way that they fought was so boring.
Yeah, no, we
it's
got
really stupid. They just lined up.
Tactics.
They just lined up and shot each other.
Just moseying in a straight line.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
This is why like Last of the Mohicans has some sick battle shit, because it's about like, oh, what if there was just a crazy guy who didn't do that?
I am saying there is, look, as someone who has watched the American Revolution on PBS, the full 10-hour Ken Burns documentary from last year, there is at least some kind of tactics that maybe that would have been more interesting to at least show a little bit of like, okay, yeah, you're going to have some people up here, but that's just because you're flanking them and you're coming up behind or something like that. This movie isn't interested in that. It's just like, it's fucking dead straight ahead. You don't want to fire that musket until they're like 6 feet away, and then just start poking, man.
A lot of these guys, I think, are actual Civil War reenactors, which is a whole thing.
Like, yeah.
You know, I've been traveling a lot for work, and I go to Virginia a lot.
Have you ever been to a Civil War reenactment?
I've not been to one, but I've talked to a lot of people.
I guarantee you, Hunter's been to one.
Look, I was gonna say I have been to one.
What side were you on?
And you'll never guess the side that I was dragged to. I did not know. To be fair, I did not participate. I was like 12. You can probably guess which family member was the one that took me to this event, and it was one that the South won. Shocker there.
So,
jeez.
So we, once the troops are assembled, we're sort of introduced to our core crew of, black officers in this regiment. And it's sick because it's fucking Andre Braugher, first of all. Yeah. Baby little Andre Braugher. He's so young.
It's his first role.
He's so cute. You feel so bad for him the whole movie. You're like, fuck, man, this guy's not built for it.
He plays Thomas Searless, who grew up with Shaw, and he was free his whole life. Mm-hmm. Some of these other guys are kind of former slaves. And not Searless. He is a Northerner, and he has his shit rocked pretty early on. Then sort of like the paternal presence is Morgan Freeman, who's dialed. He's always dialed. He's so fucking good. Yeah, he's like important in this movie. I love his performance. His dynamic with Denzel is like it's the memory I have of the movie is the way they play off each other. Yeah. It's incredible
with Denzel and with Matthew Broderick. Like those are the best Matthew Broderick scenes in the movie is whenever he is playing against him. Yeah, he's so John good. Rollins is Morgan Freeman, and then you have Sharts in the tent with them as well. Of course, Jimmy Kennedy. He's great. Yeah, I love this whole foursome. He's fine. I think he brings a cool energy to the movie. I think he's fun. I will say that is a credit to the screenplay as well as the acting is like all four of them feel like real people and they all feel distinct from each other. That and the mute drummer boy that they also have is staying in them. Like there's a real character. Yeah, there's a lot of humanity. Like the Morgan Freeman calls that boy honey, and it's like it melts your heart a little bit. There's a lot of that. Oh, that's another stupid thing about old battles. You're just wasting children's lives on drumming while you walk. Absolute idiots. Put a bomb on that kid. Be quiet. How about be quiet? How about sneak around? No, we have to like drum. The day where they announce. Like, we're gonna send them a letter. Crazy. We're gonna let them know in a fortnight we're going to be attacking you. Was that part of the reenactment? The letter? Yeah. You had to do the. It was a whole 3-week affair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was the best summer of my life. So a couple shortcuts that the movie doesn't take that I appreciate. Whether or not it's all on purpose. I do like that for probably half the movie, you really, even though you get that it's complicated, you don't like Shaw. Like you're like, this guy's being a fucking asshole. He's being so uncompromising. He won't be nice to his boy, Andre Braugher. And you get it because he's also dealing with PTSD, blah, blah, blah. And he's dealing with that one Irish fucker. This Irish guy. That guy's great. He's enjoying being mean to them a little too much. They make a comment about is it the Irish much? Being particularly hateful. Yeah, he has a different dynamic with Cary Elwes, who he recruited to be his major. J.O. Sanders is the actor. And Cary's issue with Shaw is different than anyone else's. He's just like, why are you acting like such a prissy asshole? Like, get off your horse, literally. There's a lot going on there. And then later on in the movie, the thing that it gets right is that there were a lot of evil racist people in the North. Yes. Oh yeah. That's a great streak throughout the story. Yeah, it's not trying to paint this,
you know, pun intended, like this black and white version of like the North was all the good people and the South was all no, there were horrible people up there.
Yeah,
doing atrocities.
Yeah, that guy that they meet,
the guy from the Kansas regiment,
that burns down
he's
the
a
town.
he's a little bit like comically evil.
Yeah,
where you know what I mean, where he's just like kill everyone.
Well, also then because you see him again at the end of the movie, which is only like 15, 20 minutes later, where he's like, give him hell 54. And it's like, that guy is not buying into them now suddenly. He had not had a change of heart.
The 54th was a real regiment. It's there. A lot of these history heads, a lot of these reenactor heads, they know all about the 54th. And I think that part of the big deal of this movie is that for the people that are really into history and the Civil War, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I guess it makes sense to make a movie about this. It's something that gets talked about. And I think that the legacy of this movie is that even though it gets talked about in these circles of like historical freaks, the larger public didn't and still doesn't know the basic fact that the movie just puts in the title card of 180,000 black soldiers serving in the army. And that's what the point of this movie is just to teach, to communicate. That's why it's shown in schools, because that's an important figure to all of American history, and specifically this time in American history.
The story with why this guy wrote the script is he just was walking around and saw a Civil War monument that had black soldiers in it. He was like,
so
what?
I've seen that monument. That is in Boston. In front of the Capitol building in Boston. So it overlooks their version of Central Park, Boston Common. As you go down the steps, there's this.
And people say Boston's a racist city.
I was just waiting for Hunter to jump in.
It is facing away from like the majority of where people walk. So you do kind of have to go up the steps and then look around to see it. So, but it is there, and it is what we see. It is the closing credits. I guess they must have just shot the actual monument because it doesn't look like they recreated it in CGI. 1989.
I'm sure they just went there and just
shot why wouldn't you?
But that's what you see is that monument.
So if you're, you know, once you're sort of able to put the film in context of like when it came out, and you know, I think that kind of opens it up and makes you able to sort of just enjoy it as a movie a little bit more. Whereas like if you want to, you can just watch it and be like, this is so much worse than what it would be today. Because it is. Yeah. It would be better if they made it today. There are still
we've learned a lot.
Well, there are still some really like heartrending moments. Like there are a few little like goosebumpy, like feel good or feel bad moments that I think are effective. The score helps out. It's a very traditional movie. A lot of use of like choral voices, that happened a lot in the 80s. Hans Zimmer used to do that in a way that like sucked a lot of the time, but this I think is a lot more effective.
The Boys Choir of Harlem is the performer, and James Horner does the music. I mean, the legend James Horner, Avatar.
Yeah. So I think there are sequences that are played out pretty well. The scene when no soldier leaves when they can leave, like they're allowed to leave. It's a big like hoorah. You're like, fuck yeah, they're all still there. There are moments like that where you're like, okay, these are movie checkpoints that like it's hitting for me. And then like at the core of it, we need to just generally talk about Denzel.
When he enters the movie, it jumps up a full star for me. And he wins an Oscar for this movie. I don't think he's in it nearly enough.
No, of course not.
You don't get a lot lot with him.
He's easily the most complicated, interesting character.
Yeah. Every microsecond that this man is on screen saying words, the movie just like fully just grows and blossoms in a way that it doesn't.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I think that there's a reason why like starting with this movie is a great entry point, because this is the last time that he becomes part of a tapestry. Like at this point moving forward, it is like he's on the fucking poster. Like he is there. It might be like him in like a two-hander or something like that, but like they know that like he has such a magnetism every second that he is taking up on the screen that's like you don't ever want to leave this guy. You never want to leave his side.
I am curious to go back and check out some of those movies that we named at the top, because he is the lead in some of those, in most of
Heart
those.
Condition.
And I do wonder
he's a really good piece of that tapestry in Heart Condition though.
If that's
his heart.
If that feeling carries of like every time he is act, every time you're watching him act, like, oh, you are just more dialed in, more invested.
I would imagine there's a baseline of like script he's not able to save. You know what I mean?
There has to be.
Like, because this
but think about Gladiator 2. Like, he doesn't save that movie. That movie's still dog shit. But I remember thinking when he's on screen, I was so much more invested than when he was not.
I felt bad for him watching that movie.
Yeah, we're gonna have to reinvent the good Denzel, bad Denzel, like how we do for good Tom, bad Tom.
He's never gonna be bad.
We're not gonna have
every single
bad
time. Yeah,
and
It's this role is
maybe
like
misuse of him.
Yeah,
but
this role is like excellent utilization of him. The only flaw in it is that it's not enough of him. But like it's him.
Yeah.
Pauline Kael calls him like she compares him to like Marlon Brando or Humphrey Bogart.
Ooh,
Just all
Pauline.
all intensity. You know, just like every time you're seeing him, his eyes are flickering. Like he's so
his eyes are so wide all the time.
and so present with the emotion of the scene, and so effortlessly cool and charismatic and dangerous.
Yeah, because he's carrying the most inner conflict more than Shaw is. Where
he's a former slave. He says he ran away when he was 12.
And he's also representing a viewpoint that I was like glad to see at least made the cut in the film, even if it should have been the whole subject of it, where he's like, I'm not even all the way in on this shit. Like, you know, I'm not carrying your fucking flag, man.
Yeah.
Like this, what's gonna happen for me after this? Nothing.
He does pick
my
it
life's
up.
gonna
we
suck.
needed somebody else who's not just like, yay, I get to wear the Union blues.
Yeah, exactly. Like he is such an essential piece to making this movie like not bad.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that is what makes this movie a bit of a turning point in what we were saying about the types of roles that are given to black actors and the types of characters. You know, this relegation, this movie doesn't fix anything, but it might point to like an inflection point where what you're saying of that complexity, those added wrinkles, those layers, that kind of doesn't exist before Glory at all, especially in like bigger movies that are meant for the masses, right? Like the bigger Hollywood production.
I'd say the first big example of this, though, is Sidney Poitier, who also started by getting a lot of like traditional black roles, and then like with something like In the Heat of the Night, and then other things like he did Transcend. Now, Sidney Poitier was in
what did he win his Oscar
much
for?
more In the Heat of the Night.
It was?
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. I think he's won 2.
That was the
Correct me if I'm
first.
wrong.
Was that the first black Oscar for acting?
For a man, yes. Technically, oh shoot, what's her name?
Was the lady from Gone with the Wind?
She won a honorary Oscar, I want to say, but she was not invited to the ceremony, very famously.
Oh my God.
She won an Oscar, but was not invited to the ceremony to receive the Oscar. Great look that we had there in the 1930s. But no, I do think that like
I need
this
to
is
see more Poitier.
Poitier is amazing. Incredible actor. He has like there's a reason why Denzel is pointed to him as like he was like my hero and like actor that I looked like. Partially because there just wasn't a whole lot of people to look to that like kind of looked like him, but also because Poitier is another actor who kind of came from theater, who took to the Hollywood machine, but then kind of kept returning to theater in the same way that we're seeing Denzel do that now in his later career.
So it looks like he won the Oscar for something called Lilies of the Field.
Oh, Lilies of the Field.
And then I think you might be right that he did win a second, or at least was nominated for In the Heat of the Night.
Yeah, I know that movie won Best Pick, and I'm pretty sure Norman Jewison won Best Director that year. Speaking of race relations in movies, do you guys know what wins Best Picture this year in the 1990 Oscars for the 1989 season? It's a big one.
Driving Miss Daisy.
It's Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, this is
a Driving Miss Daisy.
This is the Do the Right Thing year.
This is the
huge year for Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, absolutely massive year. He is nominated for Best Actor, but loses. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he loses to Daniel Day-Lewis. My left foot. This is just 1989 is kind of like it's one of the signature years for just talking about race in America and the way that race is portrayed on screen. And a lot of that at the forefront is the Do the Right Thing, Driving Miss Daisy, but Glory is a little bit of a forgotten tale in there.
It is. I mean, I wish Denzel wasn't Do the Right Thing. I mean, that's like one of my 5 favorite movies ever made, and it's so much of it is because you're like, this came out in 1989.
Yeah.
And it's visually still inventive and subject matter wise, it's still right on the fucking nose.
Yeah.
You know who?
What a guy Spike Lee is.
You know who Denzel beats? Danny Aiello, the one actor performance nominated to Do the Right Thing.
Hilarious. This
Good
movie,
job. Good job by the
This
Academy
movie also
there.
wins cinematography and sound.
Yeah.
And it was nominated for art direction and film editing.
Glory wins cinematography.
Yeah.
That surprises me.
So I will say that kind of surprised me too, especially because, and we're talking about like the visceralness of this movie and how I wish that had a little bit more. A movie that did came out this year that actually is a little bit mean and that it needed it and is a better movie than this is what we talked about in the last pod series, Born the 4th of July. Comes out the same year.
That's
as
a
this.
better looking movie.
It's a better looking movie. I think
Also,
that movie
do
is,
the right thing.
Well, that too. Yes. Okay.
He's putting cameras in places like we still don't see.
Yeah.
That movie looks so cool.
Yeah, I'm talking about things
know,
that
I
had
know.
a chance
That's
to
It's
win.
just so fucked
unfortunately.
up.
Two very different depictions of warfare with Glory and Born on the 4th. Like, wow, in the same year. That's crazy.
It's,
Yeah, 89 is a awesome year for
It's a-
movies. Very interesting year. if
I mean,
nothing else.
this movie is like very, very competently shot. You know what I mean? Not much sticks out. It's pretty desaturated, which Kale notes as like a positive. It's almost as if it's like being portrayed as memory or as like a fade. You know what I mean? Like a faded vision of a past. It's kind of the poster for this movie is kind of catfishing because it's like so saturated and so colorful. You don't see a color half that bright in the whole fucking film.
like a bright red
It's
and blue.
The most intense color like that you see in the movie is probably green when they're in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not super striking visually. It's just like well done.
Well, all the actors, the reenactors, the stunt performers, the extras. I think that feeds into it as well. Just the volume, the depth of performers, of men on screen.
That is sort of a recurring thing in the movie. Is you're like, how many people are in this regiment? Because there are certain scenes where you're like, is this like 500 guys?
Yeah. And you don't see that anymore, you know? And I think now that you mentioned Born on the 4th of July, like I am kind of knocking down this movie a little bit in my brain
we
because
could
like
get a little meaner, like this
that
time.
the way that movie depicts combat is fucking crazy, and that movie moves on from combat and becomes a movie about, you know, the trauma of living beyond that. But the scenes that kind of put you in that mode are so rooted in the Cruise character and his experience. We don't really get anything like that. The closest thing is when we're following Broderick and he's kind of like a scaredy cat and he wants to stay on the ground.
Yeah.
It kind of puts you in that place a little bit, but nothing as inventive and sort of disorienting.
I mean, also an actual true war movie. We did get Platoon also 3 years earlier.
Right.
Like that is another movie. Like it's
just.
But I guess what Zwick is trying to do here is just hang back and just shoot the thing.
Yeah.
Just
He's
don't do
making
anything
this look
fancy.
like a Civil War reenactment. I think that was the purpose behind it. It's something that with like high definition TVs and watching things now, like I watched this on the Blu-ray that I own and I'm just like, it just looks like I'm looking at Civil War reenactment. Like this, I don't buy this in this.
I watched this on my phone on an airplane.
Oh, cool. The way that Zwick intended it in 1989.
I'm very busy.
Fucked up.
Hey, it's on Netflix.
It's just
That's what Netflix wants. That's what they want us to do.
it
Do you
is.
watch this with ads?
No,
Like
fuck
3
no.
ad breaks. Okay.
It's bizarre. Like if you're gonna give this movie anything, it's not cinematography. Like that's strange to me. But whatever. The Academy stays weird.
Real quick, one other thing on the Oscars before we moved on. Fucking all-timer best original screenplay year this year at the Oscars. Dead Poet Society wins.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
Do y'all know any of the other movies? This is a bit 1989. I think this is
Do the right thing.
Do the Right Thing is nominated.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
This is also the boom of Sundance is this year, and with that, Sex, Lies, and Videotapes.
That's a sick movie. Have you guys seen that movie?
No.
It's so sick.
Spader.
It's so weird, man.
Yeah. Crime and Misdemeanors by Woody Allen, which we'll skip right over that one. And then my favorite screenplay, my personal pick that should have won, When Harry Met Sally.
Let's go.
One of the best scripts ever written, ever.
Wow, that is a great.
That's fucking loaded.
Unreal year, man.
Great.
Loaded.
1989.
So let's get into what I think is like the two standout scenes. The one is the Oscar scene for Denzel, the whipping. I think the most known aspect of this movie is this scene. He runs away to try to get shoes. He gets caught. They think he's deserting. They bring him back. They make him take his shirt off and beat him with a whip. His acting is incredible. Denzel is very he has scenes where he does have a lot of lines, but mostly kind of a silent character in a lot of this movie. This scene, I don't think he has any lines. It's just a staring contest with Broderick. It won him the Oscar. I mean, you can see it. It's not very complicated to think about the Academy in 1989, seeing that and being here you go.
It's unfortunate because that is like the most reductive black role scene in the movie, where it's like, well, of course this is
but
the scene that
it's not even the best scene in the movie.
That's what I was gonna say. And that's not the best Denzel scene in the movie.
No,
the best Denzel scene is
he wins that Oscar at the campfire.
Yeah.
Like it's really well written. In sort of like what I always talk about in like sometimes like limiting the vocabulary of your speaker, but if it's a good actor, they can express a million emotions. The
way that he holds tears in his eyes,
it gets you choked up.
And it just like as this whole thing goes, it's just like, we men, ain't we? Mm-hmm. Ain't we? And like him just like slowly questioning himself, questioning everybody around him.
Everything leading up to that, right? They're all kind of it's this sort of sermon moment. They're getting ready for the big battle the next day. They think they're probably going to die, so they're trying to hype themselves up. They're singing, they're clapping, they're kind of expressing their emotions. Again, no white men to be seen in this scene. There is a reason why this is the best scene in Glory, because they clear out for these guys to just vibe out and be vulnerable and emotional with each other, which I guess was rare. Might still be pretty rare to see a scene like this. It feels very fresh. There's just a great energy. And you build up to it, right? Because you get Morgan Freeman, you get Andre Braugher, and then you get Denzel. He's kind of like the last one. And again, he doesn't have many lines.
Well, no.
It's just the look.
He really fumbles like the speech.
Yeah.
It's all in the face.
It's sort of a pattern. I always love it when a movie does this, when the character that is like the most brash and always has something to say, usually, and he's so antagonistic, when it comes time for him to really say something meaningful, he's like, fuck, man.
I can't do it, man.
It's so good. It is some of the, like, that scene is just, that's as good as acting gets, in my opinion.
Dynamite.
Like, it is so dynamic. So then past that, like you said, the war sequences themselves are not, I wouldn't call them standouts, even if they're like competently done. The final one in particular, at times, I thought was like almost like sloppy, like just
they're going for chaos.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not chaos. It's not Saving Private Ryan chaos.
Right.
It just like there for a while I like it because it is it's a unique location to have like sand flying everywhere, and like what looks like basically fireworks. So it's
storming the beaches of Charleston.
Yeah, so it's visually compelling in that way. Once we get though to like the brass tacks of like what needs to happen to each of these characters, you're kind of like, so wait, from that angle, he thinks that he's not gonna die if he just like runs straight at them.
Denzel comes after him too. He's like, no,
and then he just immediately dies too. Like, it's like, really?
I think that maybe that was like where I got left a little bit on a sour note with some of the things, is because it's like a great action set piece. Like, there should be story told within the action itself. I think that like where you're at with the movies as a whole, like I think that this is one thing that like the Mission Impossible movies get really right, is like you can see the characters within the action that they are building is kind of like the beats the story that it is trying to say. Obviously those movies are made now versus something that's then, but even if you're looking at like something, again, going back to like a Platoon or like an Apocalypse Now, like you can feel the characters within that sequence. And to your point, Drew, like I don't know what was our plan there. Like they just kind of felt like and then we're just gonna like run directly up a hill at guys and we're just all gonna die here.
Yeah, particularly Broderick when he does it. Like he's just going straight out in it reminds me, it's like the first scene in The Other Guys when they just jump off the building. It's like, what did you think was gonna happen?
Well, and I think that it's supposed to be like the way that it is. Like, I'm sure that was written on the page is like he was a coward in the first battle.
Now he's finally,
and now he's gonna like lead the charge, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a difference between like leading the charge and being a good general and being like stupid and suicidal.
Yeah, the best moments for Broderick in the movie are when he's going back to the white aristocracy and demanding shit. In particular, I think it's a good moment for him when he volunteers them, the 54th, to go first.
Yeah.
A part of me was thinking like, what if he goes back and Cary Elwes is like, what? They said it's a suicide mission. You said we'll do it. Like, are you crazy? Also, maybe like the third most iconic part of the movie is when he tears up the paycheck.
Yeah.
That's a huge moment. You're right, Hunter. You imagine maybe another actor doing it all better. You do. But
Apparently that did happen.
There was a different
refusing
actor.
pay.
well, and a lot of them never got the money. They died not getting that money. It's fuck. They didn't get their $13, but that's a cool last scene. You know what I mean? That's the first sort of, I like, and again, it doesn't go the easiest war movie route of like, there's no look exchanged in that scene between Denzel and Broderick. That it makes you wait a good while for them to actually connect. And when they do connect, it's a really awkward conversation.
By the water?
Yeah, where like, again, Denzel's like uncomfortable and like telling him how he really feels.
But it's a good setup for the end.
Yeah. No,
When
like
they're buried together.
yeah, it all works. It's just in the worst version of this movie, like 8 times out of 10 when you make the movie, it's like in that moment they look at each other like, maybe you're not so bad, Mr. Shaw.
He, like, puts his arm around him. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Maybe you are Glory.
it's just too bad that they didn't make this now. Like it would just be so much better if they were free to just make this about the more interesting characters.
Yeah, but then
It's a bummer.
But then Denzel wouldn't have had this moment to kind of climb up into the rank that he made it into.
Oh, of course.
You know?
And I still, like I said, a lot of this movie still really worked for me in a way I didn't think it would. Like it engages with more complexities than you would expect from 1989.
I mean, I just kept thinking about it from that lens of of what you said of it being shown in a school, in a classroom, right? I kept thinking about that. And from that sense, it's way better than almost anything you could watch in a school that's like shown to kids. And I don't understand like what cut they must have shown, because the guy does get his head blown off 5 minutes into this movie. And there's a lot of racial slurs. So
it had to have been a very vanilla version of this.
The teacher that showed us this movie was doing way worse shit than showing us this movie. If you guys know who I'm talking about,
by name.
Why? What is he going to get mad at me? Fuck you, buddy.
In prison, yeah. One day we're gonna have to do like our top 10 rankings of movies that are played for you in school. Osmosis Jones has to be near the top. That's
there's a difference, because there are movies that they just put on because they know it's just like a kid's movie, and then there are movies that
Water for
teach you
Elephants.
something. Because I saw Finding Nemo 100 times in school, but it doesn't teach you anything. It teaches you to like love your dad.
Hold on a second. So Adam, friend of the pod, shout out. He made this letterbox list. Oh wait, Osmosis Jones is a Farrelly Brothers movie?
Yeah, it
What
is.
the
It is a
fuck?
Farrelly Brothers movie.
Academy Award winners. Okay, so Adam.
I was like deathly sick like 3 years ago, and I made Gaia watch Osmosis Jones with me.
All right.
It kind of holds up.
So Adam made a letterbox list called Florida Public School Canon.
Okay. Oh my God.
This is his description for it. Movies I watched after standardized testing before holiday summer break, or just on a random day on a Florida public school, either on a tiny Panasonic TV or a projector. We'll probably update this randomly until my final day on Earth.
Okay.
Wow. Man, Adam coming through.
So a lot of these are probably just going to be like movies that are good for kids, not movies that like you learn anything.
Well,
Right. A lot of these are just kids' movies.
Yeah.
There has to be like, I'm sure like Food Inc. and stuff like that is on here.
Yeah,
Those are things that we watch.
Supersize.
Supersize Me.
Glory is not on this list.
Wow.
I mean, it was,
It's more of a North Florida thing.
well, it's just,
Closer to Georgia.
it's one where like if you were like a proper teacher, you have to like get like permission slip signed or something, even though that's not happening. But
Do you think that they showed it in like North Florida, South Georgia schools, because then the teacher can like applaud at the end when it says that?
there is a Denzel movie on here. Can you guess what it is?
Is it one that we're covering in this pod series?
We are.
Malcolm X?
No, that would be the coolest fucking teacher that showed Malcolm X.
Philadelphia.
Man, your teachers are fucking awesome.
Training
What are you
day.
talking about?
Is it like Crimson Tide or something like that? Like, does it just?
Yeah, for submarine class.
Think about what is the most like child friendly Denzel.
Yeah. I don't know.
Remember the Titans.
Remember
duh,
the Titans,
duh.
of course. Yeah, of
That's
course.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
I should have known that. We gotta get him to add Glory on there. Are there any other good ones that are semi-educational?
Well, this is a
that you can put
personal
on?
list for Adam's.
Yeah, this is
lived
what
experience.
he watched. Yeah,
Okay.
there must be somebody else must have made like the school watch list. Oh, because some of these people are putting lists of things that they watched in like acting school or film school or law school.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Like, I could see an English teacher throwing on Dead Poet Society, except then they'd probably just have to skip over, and it's like, oh, and then like this one character, he isn't around anymore. And just skip 20 minutes because he killed himself.
Elementary school watch movies that elementary school teachers made us watch. Oh, only
a
the
lot of
Shaggy
animated.
Dog.
Oh, Fern Gully. Fern Gully is a great public school movie
Yeah.
because, you know,
But yeah,
really nice
the brain of this was shown in school helped me out a lot in sort of processing this movie and thinking again, like I was saying, what it must have been like at the time of when it came out. Because yeah, with all the shortcomings, I think that there is a lot that works here, and it's mostly just these moments, right? It's not the whole thing.
No, yeah.
But there's enough in there that I feel like, yeah, it's a solid little movie, right? And I think that it does enough to get us to the next thing, to sort of feed in from the culture and not poison it too much. Because this movie, yeah, there are things that are icky about it. The whole sort of white saviorism of it is in there. But it's not like he doesn't end up saving any of them. They all die together anyway, right? So it's not like the movie is saying, oh, here's this great white man who teaches the black soldiers how to be good and better. That's not what the movie is.
It seems like initially it was going to be a lot more of that.
Sure.
And like I said, I kept once I saw like young Cruz in that Broderick role, I was like, fuck. God, he'd be so much better.
he would be amazing.
But he cannot play meek. You'd be watching him like giving it his all and trying to be the white savior. Like that's just he cannot not have a mission.
What I would want to see though is I would want to see like the tenacity of young Cruz going up against young Denzel. Like that.
Oh God,
that would have been sick.
That's what I would love to see. It's funny because Zwick does eventually work with Tom Cruise in a movie that we missed.
The Last Samurai.
Yeah.
Hey,
God, just missed it.
Cruz,
Another white savior movie.
he plays a Civil War veteran in that film.
Wow, you're so right.
Zwick is very, very interested in this time. I wanted to shout out some of like the historical stuff that this movie is going for. Obviously, like we mentioned, the 54th is real. Shaw is real. You mentioned none of the other guys are real. They're all
Shart is not real, unfortunately.
inventions. The soldiers in real life were mostly already all free black men. They weren't actually former slaves. And actually, you know, we do see an Avengers Endgame style cameo of Mr. Frederick Douglass in the film. And in real life, 2 of his sons were enlisted.
That is the most history class part of the movie is when they're like, whoa, you should meet my friend, Mr. Frederick Douglass. And he's like, hi, you've seen pictures. You know,
He like doesn't have any lines.
hi, from the textbook, it's me.
Everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah, he says like 2 things.
Soy face.
That is the scene where I think Broderick is really letting the script down. Yeah. That is the only moment where I was like, okay, he's doing bad here. I don't know what to read out of him at all.
We haven't mentioned the facial hair thing that he has going on.
Dude,
During that scene in particular, I was like, I have no idea what this guy's saying. Get that thing off his face.
Dude, I'm like, the glue is melting off of his face now. We gotta figure out what's happening. I was staring at his fucking ugly ass mustache goatee combo the whole time. It's again,
it's blasphemous to call that a goatee. That is
Whatever
that
the
little
fuck
soul
that is.
patch, little rat tail thing.
And here's the thing. I know that was like a popular facial hair at the time. Once again, Matthew Broderick looks like he put on his dad's clothes.
He looks like a little baby.
He like drew a little fake mustache on himself.
Just a lot of stuff just didn't work out for him, like, dynamics wise for the roles he took. He also ended up, he's one of those guys who just likes theater better and is like a theater fucking legend.
And I mean, that's the thing, is he's not a bad actor. I'm not going to say that he's like bad at it. It's just like, this is a horrible miscast.
Yeah. And it's, and a lot of it is just in the conception of the film, and it just wouldn't happen today.
When was the last time he did anything good? Oh, he was good in No Hard Feelings.
I was gonna say he's done some good TV work the last like decade or so.
It's great when he pops up in Oh Hello, just like they open a door,
Yeah.
he's behind it and they shut the door on Broadway.
That's really good.
Yeah, just not that much.
He's like loaded for fucking life. He's Simba.
Oh, that's right.
Like he's
Those checks
and he's
printing.
always doing theater, like America and abroad. He's always doing something.
Dude, he was in Deck the Halls.
I would recommend War Games if you want another like good Broderick. Like,
that's early,
super young. But you watch it and you're like,
War Games
hell
is
yeah,
awesome. That is a movie that is aged well for all the wrong reasons in many ways.
Oh, Inspector Gadget.
Of course.
We should do the Inspector Gadget pod.
One of the worst Christmas movies ever, Deck the Halls.
Yeah.
with DeVito, atrocious movie.
Yeah.
What is Deck the Halls?
It's like
that one.
It's like Christmas with the Cranks, but like
Somehow worse.
it's more soulless. It's so evil.
I know this movie. Okay, yeah. I know he was in the Producers remake in like the 2000s.
And the Stepford Wives remake as well.
Stepford Wives remake as well. Yeah.
Which that movie, not good, not bad.
Are you guys big Lion King 1.5 heads?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Come on.
Lion King 1.5 rock? That like,
Mystery Science.
Honestly, that movie like taught me about director's commentary.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that movie like got me into it. I was like, God, Timon and Pumbaa were like really running the show here.
He
They had a lot of creative vision.
He plays Despereaux in The Tale of Despereaux. Remember the little mouse? Little mouse with sword?
Yeah.
What if Little Mouse had sword?
Little Mouse with Sword. Watching that.
A couple other points.
The Matthew Broderick series is kind of great for us.
I mentioned the pay protest. The burning of the town was real. That actually did happen.
That's an upsetting scene.
Yeah.
That is very
Yeah,
effective.
you're like fucking Christ, this guy. Like, and again, and that's even though it's like almost like cartoonishly evil, that is nuance of just like, it's not just like, oh, here and there you'd meet a shitty guy from this is like a commanding officer whose like heart is like sour.
Well, they're ransacking.
Rape and pillage.
Yeah, they're ransacking this like civilian area. There's no rebel soldiers there, but because they are in the South, in the Confederacy, they take it upon themselves to just like terrorize these people. Is that what's going to happen to us? Are we going to have to do that?
No, we're in DeSantis country. We're safe.
Okay. The battle at the end, really interesting sort of location here that they have. I think they filmed this in Georgia.
I mean, it's very recognizable. It's our East Coast. You know, it looks like
Savannah
Annihilation
area. To me,
It's like the marshy, boggy, and then beach. Like it works.
Apparently, they in real life attacked from the other side, so the ocean would have actually been to the right of them, not to the left.
Thanks.
So they came from the South.
Yeah. Apparently, yeah. So these are these Hollywood changes.
He's elite.
Thanks for adding this on there. This is
the supply shortages completely made up for the film.
That makes sense as a Hollywood invention.
Yeah, they did not have. This was one of the best equipped units in the army, and the governor of Massachusetts himself, who we do meet in the beginning, he saw to it that this unit had everything that they needed.
So is it completely made up that like there was a hesitation to send them into battle? Because my thought was that would be made up because like I bet they'd be like, yeah, no, fucking send black guys into battle. Like they just needed bodies at a certain point to go in.
There definitely was a hesitation because like this is the end of the Civil War that this movie's taking place, and they are like one of the first to ever be doing it.
Yeah.
So most of the Civil War happened, and they were not allowed to do it that whole time. You know?
Well, no. I meant for the 54th in particular to send them into battle once they got trained up.
I would imagine, yeah, because like if there was no pushback to it, they would have just been training them to do it from the start of the war. They need people.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that they just needed bodies at a certain point. If it's at the end of the war, it's like we're running low on guys.
I would imagine. I mean, I would believe that they were like, yeah, you know, like any bloated army, a lot of the work they're doing is not war, and they're like, yeah, just like have them do that, whatever. So I would believe that.
Apparently, it's kind of complex. The governor saw it as
Claude is being like, the Civil War didn't happen, Ernest.
Hey, Grok, can you answer this one for me?
Yeah, it was all about states' rights. The governor saw it as his holy experiment.
Oh.
So they would be sent into like small skirmishes and such, but not like, you know, important operations.
Yeah. It was also, I appreciated that they, you know, the white aristocracy that Shaw is from, every time he goes and visits them, even though they're on the right side of history, you still don't like the way they're talking about any of this.
No,
you know, you're like, what?
It's the flippant racism
it's very,
they have.
Yeah, all those scenes reminded me so much of like Mon Mothma's banquets in fucking Andor, where you're like, God, all these people suck. Like they're all just politicking.
So it sounds like the what it was in real life is that they were kind of like a propaganda point to advance the abolitionist movement. So they actually like were trying to protect them. They didn't want them to die.
That's interesting.
That's kind of what it sounds like.
They wanted them to be like figureheads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Like
That
Rosie
makes
the
sense.
Riveter type, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because if they would send them and they would all be massacred, which is what ended up happening.
Yeah.
it was kind of
it
would crumble the entire point of what they were trying to do.
But then Shaw just gets a little too antsy. He's like, no, we're fucking going in there.
Yeah.
We're first.
I gotta
Let me at him.
But then
demons.
there's that whole the Confederacy decree that they read out in the rain, which is a good little scene, you know, when they sort of introduce that kind of Joseph Campbell-esque what is that the call
refusal of the call.
Refusal of the call. Yeah.
That's a good scene. The more you think about it, the lesson, like when you're watching it, that felt really impactful for me. But really,
it's well done.
But if you really think about it, you're like, well, if they all just go home and then like lose the war, then like they're also fucked.
Exactly.
It really means a lot more for the commanding officers, though.
Right.
You know, like they,
because then they're
Cary
willingly,
Elwes
they're basically willingly putting these men into like execution zone.
Yeah.
Knowing the implication.
But then again, you know, speaking toward how there's a little more nuance than you think, that Denzel finally says that to Broderick later, and which is really late in the movie. He's like, hey man, life is still going to fucking suck for us once this is over. Another great point that Kale makes, like one of her like lighter criticisms, is just Zwick clearly wants to like defy all these, you know, a lot of the conventions that you would see in this type of movie, but a lot of the time he kind of halfway defies it. Like in that scene is pretty, you know, it's pretty defined. It's interesting. You know, their viewpoints clashing in a way you wouldn't expect. And then at the end of the movie, you know he's going to pick up that flag, at least for a second. Yeah. And it's like, no,
immediately
he shouldn't pick up the flag. Yeah. He's right. He's like, fuck this country. My whole life is hell because of this country.
It's crazy that like they all die. Like every single one of them. There are no survivors from this band of guys that's
another good, you know, you'd have to rewrite a lot, but giving the last shot is just like them being fucking buried on top of each other.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
That's cool. Just unmarked grave.
Yeah, just wet mud.
I think, the rebels won. So this is an actual Rebels won movie, if you really want to think about it. Oh, God, Glory sucks. No, the biggest thing I think in terms of the historical sort of changes, the whipping, the flogging, that never happened. That is a full Hollywood creation.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because this was abolished by the Union in 1861. And there's no way that Shaw would have been allowed to do that, or that he would have done that or wanted to do that. Maybe.
Well, it's because it's like, well, this is what we would do to any deserter. Yeah. And it's like,
would you though?
Well, and also like in that is the moment where you're like, okay, I hate Shaw. Cary Elwes is less woke than Shaw, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? You do not do this.
Also, yeah, like he takes off the shirt and you see the markings and everything. That was a point where I was just like, I think that was
it's icky.
Rubbed the whole movie a little bit the wrong way.
It's icky, even though while you're watching it, you're like, God, this is like the best actor I've ever seen. You're also like, this is the movie I thought I was going to be watching, is like the movie that paints so broadly and does really symbolic, really nasty, over the top shit.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie doesn't do that so much.
Good makeup on the scars before and after, and the feet.
Dude, the feet are nasty, man. They are really good, fucked up.
Really good makeup. Yeah. Apparently they would have done punishments. Like, obviously that Irish man, like, he's punishing them. Like, maybe they're not getting whipped, but they're getting they're getting beat or something.
Well, obviously, if you desert,
they're getting a code red.
Oh yeah,
Few Good Men style. Yeah. Did you order a code red, Shaw?
Oh man, should we have had some of the glory guys in that courtroom? They could have done some good work. Yeah, good work in there. Things could have gone differently for Jack.
How?
I think
you know who would have been a great in the role of the Irish guy is Kiefer Sutherland.
No, literally, I wrote that fucking down in my notes because I was like, Kiefer actually was kind of born to play this role. Yeah, it's just like is this guy really fucking racist? He's enjoying this a little bit too much.
He's really in character. Yeah. That in the scene where they tear up the paychecks, I really wanted a shot of the Irish guy, being like, wait,
he just like
he's like, oh,
a fake rip makes like a rip sound effect. Oh my God. Any other notes, guys? I mean, I think we talked about all the big scenes. We talked about how bad Matthew Broderick is. Did we talk enough about like Civil War films? Like, there's not a lot of them. Apparently there's a Gettysburg movie, 1993. Obviously the Spielberg film Lincoln.
I think to your point, it's not Civil War with the emphasis on the war movies. It's a lot of things where the war is happening. It's a big factor in it, but it's not war film.
We're owed
probably because, again, it's fucking boring. Like, it's the tactics of it all were kind of boring.
And it's genuinely like the country still has mixed views on the war and its outcome. This is a deeply racist, unhealed country we live in.
Yeah.
So that's another lens where, like, obviously things have like bubbled back up now, but like in 89, thinking about Driving Miss Daisy winning, it's like, that's where we were at, man. Like, this was progressive.
We need a modern Civil War movie. We need to call Ben Shapiro, Daily Wire Productions.
Well, one we did. It was made by Alex Garland.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
a great movie.
No,
directed by a guy who fought in the Civil War. Right?
Remember how we were supposed to get a Civil War movie from the Game of Thrones guys?
Oh, it was
supposed to be a show.
It was an adaptation of an alternate history where the
South won.
They should handle that.
Man, I think that I think that now they should bring it back up. They should have like seen like Trump second term and been like, all right, we're green lighting it. We're fast track. Maybe that'll be the first move by the Ellisons when they take over the Max deal.
Yeah, the Ellisons are like, we watched the 3-body problem. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that.
Get that script out here.
Can we double the budget, actually? Every episode. No, I think that's a lot. I mean, I do think like it is one of those things where oftentimes like documentaries and reading about real life events is better than dramatizations. And I think the Civil War is kind of the best example of that. Actually, go and watch the Ken Burns Civil War docuseries. There's a reason why it's known as like one of the best documentaries ever made, is because it has the the nuance, and you need like 10 hours to tell that story, not a 2-hour Hollywood movie.
So apparently some of the writers on this worked on that project.
Really? Okay.
So-
Probably a lot of the researchers, if I had to guess.
Yeah. So Kevin Jarre is the screenplay credit. I don't think it was him. There was someone else that had it.
Yeah, no, Kevin is just the writer.
Yeah.
He's written a ton of movies.
Shelby Foote was a technical advisor, and he went on to contribute to Ken Burns' Civil War.
Very cool.
But yeah, I think to kind of close that point about like the history of Civil War films, you know, the thing about Glory is that it does try to make up for some of the sins of earlier Hollywood, of Birth of a Nation, of Gone with the Wind, something called The Red Badge of Courage, directed by John Huston. You know, these were like deeply ugly racist movies. I mean, Gone with the Wind, obviously a classic, but it does depict the South as like very romanticized. In the 70s, you do get a little bit of something with something like The Outlaw Josie Wales, which is kind of like a Western inside of a Civil War movie.
I mean, in terms of like being progressive in film, we moved backwards in the 80s and 90s, you know, from the 70s. The 70s were just like anything, you know, like just unadulterated artistic
It's counterculture,
vision.
and then it's Reagan America stepping in. So
generally, I mean, I wouldn't say this movie is like necessarily worth like seeking out, like must watch, but it did better than I thought it would. I still wouldn't call it like great.
I think it's worth seeking out if you are interested in Denzel. I think it's a must watch if you were to be covering the career of Denzel Washington.
Yeah. And
if you want to go on this journey with us, then it is by definition a must watch.
And I think history guys, like history buffs, history folk, this is just a movie that, again, it has these inaccuracies, but it is a big deal for telling the story that it is telling, right?
Yeah, sure. And it's, you know, it's another one that just because of how it's aged to us, it's easy to not see how insanely well received by critics it was at the time. Like how many positive Pauline Kael views are there? She hates everything.
Right, exactly.
Toward the end, she maybe softened up a little, but like,
don't we all?
How much it didn't make a ton. Budget 18 mil, gross 26.
I was gonna say, well, also we can't just always blindly trust the critics at the time, because you know what else movie Mr. Roger Ebert gave 4 stars to in 1989?
Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah, so you know,
that makes sense that he would fall for some shit
we
like
have
that.
misses every now and then.
He's
We all have misses.
He's too sweet.
You, I, Raj, yeah.
He's too sweet.
He's just like, I think that this has a good message at the heart of it.
A couple other Civil War movies I want to shout out. I haven't seen any of these, but The Ride with the Devil is an Ang Lee movie from 1999.
Oh, I've heard of this.
With Tobey Maguire and Skeet Ulrich.
You know, we talked about this whenever we were doing God, what the fuck is the Nick Cage Ang Lee movie?
Oh,
Wind Talkers?
Wind Talkers.
No, that's not Ang Lee.
Is
that's
it's worse. It's John Woo.
John
It's worse.
John Woo. Sorry. Why
then
did I talk about this movie with somebody recently?
in 2003, you get something called Gods and Generals. Also 2003, Cold Mountain. That was a big deal with Nicole Kidman and Jude Law. And then in 2016, the Matthew McConaughey film, The Free State of Jones, the true story of Newton Knight, a Confederate deserter who led a rebellion of white farmers and escaped slaves against the Confederacy in Mississippi.
I don't know what this movie is. This is like in the reconnaissance, like that whole 2-year run, and I don't know what this movie is.
Oh, yeah. Cold Mountain has Civil War going on behind it. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly has Civil War going on behind it.
Yeah, it's...
You know, but it's not...
No. I mean, shit, Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner is like a post-Civil War general or whatever he is.
Generally, I mean, the biggest takeaway watching the movie is, like, it's a perfect place to start because even if you were watching this without the lens of Denzel, you're immediately like, who is that? Like, who on earth is that? I wasn't super familiar, especially with young Denzel. You know, he looks different back then. So watching it as a kid, I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Like, because obviously I was like, oh, Morgan Freeman rocks. No surprise, he's amazing in this. But like, that is crazy. It is crazy how much he eats up the fucking the lens.
I do want to one more time give a shout out to Andre Braugher, R.I.P. Because I think like if there is a Denzel wins this movie, and I think if there is like a second place, I would give it to Andre Braugher because I think I love him. He is the heart of this movie in many ways that you aren't getting from Broderick or.
He's so sweet.
Do we have any ideas for like awards categories? Should we build them out as we go along? I didn't know if you kept
reading fun facts for the Civil War because you were like in real time trying to like vamp so that you could make categories.
I mean, I think we can build them out as we go, as we see where the arc takes us.
What were our categories for the last time? I think we can figure out where are we gonna put a Tom. Well, Which Tom are we putting in this movie?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
I think so. Here's one. You mentioned Cruise.
Yeah, and for Broderick, that's perfect.
But how about this? And maybe the ages don't quite line up, but could we get young Tom Hanks in the Cary Elwes role?
No, because you'd be like, unless it's like literally Cruise in the other role, you're like, excuse me, give me more of that guy.
Well, no. I'm talking about like unknown Hanks. Like if Hanks is just a guy.
I know, but even still, like the thing with Cary Elwes is he like has the look.
Yeah.
He was a little bit too smooth, too good looking to be a true movie star, And so I think he's perfect as like the second guy,
I think the best one is we have not done the Kiefer Sutherland series yet, but Kiefer as the Irish fucker is just the best. It's so good.
Let's let Hanks try to do do that voice. Yeah, he's great. He's great at accents.
Yeah, flawless history whenever it comes to his accent work.
How about Nick Cage? Where's Nick Cage or Robin Williams?
Honestly, Cage could also play the Irish dude.
Cage, yeah. Robin Williams. Looks the most like the guy who won't get them shoes, like the evil mustache man who won't give him shoesies. Generally,
was there where was is Teddy Roosevelt like exist yet?
No.
Okay.
One thing we're gonna wonder
if we can just like reprise his role from.
One thing that we'll definitely keep track of, because it's going to be in like most of these movies, is there a scene where Denzel is smiling and laughing, but he is about to kill someone?
Yeah.
That happens twice in this movie.
Like, is that like best Denzelism, basically?
That's just, it's the thing he's the best at, is being so charismatic, but also like scary at the same time. The scene with Andre Braugher where he's like, he's smiling and you're like, well, I like this, I like the smile, but I feel like you're going to murder this guy. That's his whole deal in movies like Training Day, is like, you can't help but be drawn in.
We could do just like the Denzel scale. Like how many?
This is pretty.
Denzel.
That's going to be the easiest because it's a pretty consistent scale, in terms of what he's bringing.
Yeah, who like that energy reminds me of every time that like he does it, because that is like a Denzelism, is like Roberto from Futurama. Whenever he's like, "Hey, Red," and he's like holding the knife and he's just like, I'm gonna get you. But it's like a little bit of that because his eyes are always like so big and he's smiling like while it's happening. Just had to get a Futurama reference on here.
Futurama character that most reminds us of Denzel in this movie. It's a new category.
It's Roberto in this one.
It's almost always. It's not gonna be a lot of Fry.
Yeah. There might be some Zoidberg.
So the Denzel meter is like really high in this. It's just we don't get a ton of them. But whenever we get him, he is so fucking intense.
Yeah. I think what will probably, my guess of what this is gonna be is that Denzel is always at like at least an 8, if not a 9 or a 10. And then it's a matter of like, does the movie meet that energy? Can he elevate the movie? Can he single-handedly elevate the movie to that degree? Because for this, I don't think he does. I mean, I think ultimately I'd probably give this movie like maybe a 6 or a 7 out of 10. But when he's in it, he's like a 9, basically, you know?
I think that maybe that's a good way to kind of like think about it. I guess one thing that I'm thinking about with this is like, is the movie like, are we seeing Denzel as a performer evolve and show us new flavors throughout as we're going through this, because like we are going to see
sides.
Denzel kind of go back to his bag a little bit, and like it's going to be something that's like, oh, we've seen this before. Since we're doing this series in order, we can kind of like track the flavors of Denzel that we
that's
are seeing
fun.
here. This is
Yeah, it's almost like
by default. This is a yes.
it's like a map in a video game. How you don't know, it doesn't have a name until you go there. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
with this, we get the intensity all the way. Like that's the biggest area on the Denzel map we have in this movie. Like it gives us a lot of that. We also get a little bit of like bashfulness in a couple different scenes where he's anxious. He doesn't really know what to say. Which
A little pouty, maybe.
which is again, it's really hard to pull that off.
There's no stoic. We're gonna get stoic Denzel, but we haven't seen that flavor of him yet.
But yeah, I don't know. He's so fucking ready to go, like right out the gate in this movie. Again, he is like in like his mid-30s. He's got a later start, but like you're like, Jesus Christ.
So overall, I wouldn't say it's a fumble or a dud out the gate here. It's just a little bit of kind of a trot, kind of a slower pace.
Yeah. I'm not blaming Denzel for it. I don't think this movie didn't ultimately work all that well for me. Like, I thought it's fine. You're giving it like a 6 or 7. I think I give it like a 5. A gentleman's 5, though, because I think that like the lows are really fucking boring. But when Denzel's on the screen, he rocks it, man.
Yeah.
He's great.
I would love to see how much of the original script, like how much he's in it. Because I would imagine the more they were shooting, the more they were like, okay,
We got to get more with this guy. Yeah. And
he cannot be in the background.
Again, like Zwick keeps going to him, and then eventually Denzel keeps going to Zwick. So like they did see something within each other.
Yeah. And we are not covering any of the others. Wick.
I think
They're not on the list.
A good way to put, I think, the category is what percent of royalties for the movie should go to Denzel.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
For this one, it's like 70%.
I was gonna say at least 50. Yeah, at least 50.
The thing is, Morgan is crazy good in this too.
Morgan gets like 30, and then Broderick.
He does.
What?
I don't think Broderick makes
15.
the cut. Yeah.
I need some for Elwes. Yeah, and Braugher.
Yeah, the Andre Braugher estate needs to collect some.
At the time, Broderick.
And Sharts get a little bit.
No.
Come on.
At the
He's
time,
a teacher now.
Broderick was probably a
He's a
big part of the
professor.
sell of the movie. Is like they're kind of counting on us. Like you're gonna like him because it's Ferris, and so like he's gonna really suck. You got to be ready for that. You know what I mean? Problem is like we just think he sucks.
Well, it's interesting. The billing is Broderick, Denzel, Elwes is the billing.
Disrespect to Morgan.
Was that how it was billed at the time?
If it came out the year
That's
after
in the movie.
the year after it's Freeman,
Well, no.
And Freeman.
You know why he got? I bet when they filmed this originally, he was not second billed, but he had already had an Academy Award nomination at this point
for Cry Freedom.
Cry Freedom.
Yeah.
So I think at that point they're like, and to your
Renegotiate
point
that
about like,
shit.
hey, maybe we're gonna add some more scenes. Came out 2 years after Cry Freedom.
Yeah.
That might have been a thing that in pre-pro or like even on production they were like, oh, this guy's got some juice. Like he's not an unknown anymore. Like we gotta add some more.
Sorry,
material on
Elwes. Like what is Elwes? He has Princess Bride.
Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah, I know. Has he done that yet?
Hey, man,
That-
Dead-
No, that hasn't come out yet. That hasn't come out yet.
Dead Reckoning Part 1.
It didn't work out for him
He's
because
great in
he's
Dead Red
too
Part 1.
he's a little slick. Like that's why it didn't fully work out for him. Also, I'm not a huge fan of his outside of like goofy comedy. I don't think that he can act dramatically very well, to be honest.
He's in Blackberry? What did he do in Blackberry?
He's just like an evil boardroom guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Like
what?
Glenn
What he's
Howerton
bad in is Saw. Like
I don't remember Saw.
He's talking
Wait,
in like
Saw?
he's
like
talking,
the first one.
Yeah, he speaks in like transatlantic accent in that movie. He's giving such a theater performance. It really, the whole point of the movie is to not be like that.
Oh, that's right. He's Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah, that's
he's
what I'm saying.
He's
Yeah.
great. He's incredible in Princess Bride because he's good at being like the Ken doll, like the over the top.
He does have a little bit of a not like character actor stuck in leading man's body, but it's a little bit of like if he wasn't so like a beautiful, polished looking man, maybe he would have had a different career as a bit player in different comedies.
He's turned out to
more
be
lighter
good,
things.
like in older as like an evil.
Oh, he's in
guy.
Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yeah, he's in Twister, of course.
He might as well
Liar,
not be
liar.
in The Final Reckoning. That movie's a fucking mess. What is he doing in that movie? He's just
Hey, man.
standing around.
He's really good in Dead Rec Part 1.
In Dead Reckoning 1, yeah, he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about the Final Reckoning unless we're just talking about the biplane scene.
I do think that there's a couple takes in this movie where he just brings that Princess Bride energy. Like he has a couple little moments where it's like, oh,
I mean, he's mogging the shit out of Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Every scene, you're like, God, put that guy on the fucking horse.
Got frame mogged by fucking Cary Elwes.
R.I.P. Rob Reiner. All right, any other thoughts on Glory? Pretty solid entry into the series here. I'm excited for what's next.
All up from here.
The next one on the series is Mo Better Blues, a Spike Lee film. But we also plan on giving you our annual Oscar predictions, filling out our ballot. That'll probably be the next episode before Mo Better Blues. And Project Hail Mary around the corner. And then, more Denzel. You know, it's going to be a lot of Denzel from here on. So stick around. Thank you all. Rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. WeBoughtAMic.net, patreon.com/WeBoughtAMic. Thank you to the WBAM fam. We love you. Just remember to always be on the right side of history. Oh, God. And Matthew Broderick, that goes for you.
Are we looking? Matthew? We're looking.
Goodbye.
It's a story about a guy learning how to be an ally.
Yeah.
We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.